Bow. The Rising Force. That song's not on this album. It's on some other album called Rising Force. Yeah. I wanted to do this for a long time. I knew we would probably do it eventually because I grew up with it, etc. But also because it's controversial. Though it's not controversial, but it makes people angry, and there is a darker side to my personality which finds that very appealing. So I find it makes me like this more. People really hate it. They're really angry. Neoclassical metal is supposed to be the starting point of that. It's kind of in the same way Paranoid is the start of metal, and obviously there's stuff before that, but the actual pure, that's it. That's the one. That is neoclassical metal. There. And it was only downhill from here on in, actually. Not just it, but mostly instrumental. I've turned into that Scottish actor who I can't remember the name of. Thick-toned guitar. Every note sounds awesome. But disciplined and widdly. It doesn't actually fall into the trap that everyone wants it to or thinks it does. The boring shredders, the neoclassical, you see them on YouTube and you don't know if it's an album for sale or if it's just a lesson in guitar playing, or it's just somebody playing Beethoven on the guitar, and it's all very, very precise and good, but boring. Whereas this isn't like that. He's got so much style in every note. It sounds so great, He's got a fantastic tone, like Jeff Beck has a fantastic tone. That's already alienated at least 50% of the audience in your face. It's a scallop fretted Strat. Yeah. It's a scallop fretted Strat. It's not some Ibanez exact guitar with really light strings and a tiny plectrum. So, mostly structured pieces, other than one of the songs and the intro. But they're obviously it's showcasing the playing. Does have some fantastic melodies. Some are nicked from classical stuff, some are just his, mostly all his. There's 2 actual songs. As songs they suck, honestly, which is weird because the next album it's the other way around, where it's mostly songs and have actually really good songwriting. So overall it's a frustrating experience for me now. It was a little bit at the time, but I didn't know what it was, but now I do know, and that I wanted. It's like little bits and pieces of this great structured music, but it's like he just has one idea and all they will do that, and then it's finished. It's about 5 minutes long. And you could put all that together into something that meant something. All his album covers, that's probably his best album cover. He is the master of terrible album covers. He got it from Deep Purple. It's usually pictures of him, pictures of guitars, pictures of him holding the guitar. I think there's one where he's fighting a dragon with the guitar. That's pretty cool. But that says it already. It's not all fire and anger signifying nothing. It's we've just done Banco di Terra, and it's from a poem, and it's this big tomato, which is the world on the cover. This isn't about anything. It's just about him. His guitar playing. Listen to my guitar playing. It's me. So it's infuriating in a sense because he's never done that. He's just carried on doing that, and that's what he does, and that's it. And he would never work with someone else because that's what he's like, Yeah, okay, yeah, there we go.
So the question is, did Kev choose this because he knew it would annoy the hell out of me?
I didn't know it would annoy me. I know it annoys people generally. I find it entertaining.
Okay, so I think it's sort of like by the 3rd track I'm thinking, well, I listened to the first 2 tracks. I'm thinking there's something missing here. I can't quite put my finger on what's missing. It needs something else, maybe some vocals, and then track 3, some vocals come in, and it's not vocals. Whatever it is, it's not vocals.
Jeff Soto is an amazing singer, but not on this album. Next one.
There is a keyboard solo in
sort
of in track 2.
The dueling keyboard guitar thing. It's a Malmsteen thing.
Yeah, but
the very widdly version of it.
They made the keyboard try to sound as much like the guitar as possible.
Exactly.
So it's just more guitar essentially.
Yeah.
I think it was track 4, middle of track 4. I started thinking, when will this end? I can't take any more of this. This is just. I was scared. Bob been doing Malmsteen impressions while I was listening to it, and it was literally. Bobby was like, what the hell are you doing? It is very impressive, technically.
It is, more so than you think.
Yeah, because you said it's a scallop strap, which I had no idea what that means, and I don't really...
A Richie Blackmore guitar.
Okay, yeah. But if you need to know that in order to appreciate this album...
Wow, it's amazing you've played on that instrument.
I think my general impression is this is mixtape fodder. So you could take any track off here and stick it on a mixed tape.
Yeah, and you would think, people would get some more of him.
Yeah, people would be like, wow, that's cool, who's this? And it's not true, because you'll listen to it and you'll be like, right, okay.
It's just
It's so self-defeating. I think it was track 5, Icarus Dream Suite. I thought there was there's a big section at the beginning before the guitar kicks in, and I think that's the best part of the album. Even though the
first song. Is that what you mean?
No, Icarus Dream Suite.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
Even though I think the synth is a bit too much, I'm actually most interested. And then the guitar kicks in, and I'm like, for fuck's sake, more of this guitar. So yeah, I'm not really that taken by this, Kev. There's organ on here.
There is, yeah, of course. There's going to be Hammond, isn't there?
Yeah, but the thing is, well, it actually sounds like church organ. What was that?
Yeah. It's a church organ patch.
So oddly enough, this week we've been listening to church organ music to choose music for the wedding, and
having Bach. You need to have Bach.
No, we were looking at air on a G string, and what I've decided is, I don't like organ music.
Well, air is strings. On a G string.
Oh yeah, okay, but we're listening to organ version of that.
I had 3 guitars with my G strings kept slipping. The newest guitar, the G string is tight.
That's going to be the only thing this review's worth listening to, I think. So yeah, impressive technical feats. It's quite boring. When I say quite, I mean very. And it's and yeah, not my thing. I might be honest. Who were you say this was the start of the neoclassical thing? What are the neoclassical artists are there?
Well, neoclassical metal.
Metal, yeah.
Specifically, that's what neoclassical is. But you go back, you've got Randy Rhoads. He's before this. Now, Randy Rhoads is really comparing him with Randy Rhoads is really interesting. They both independently came up with this idea. But Randy Rhoads has rock and roll. He sounds like Chuck Berry and neoclassical. Yngwie doesn't. He sounds like Richie Blackmore, but more. He's just doing that bit. That bit, the Kill the King solo, basically. The Kill the King guitar solo, just do that lots. I'm not Kill the King and Gates of Babylon is the other one. Yeah. So it comes from Rainbow, not from Deep Purple. It comes from Rainbow. Uli John Roth, who was in the Scorpions. Was it Scorpions? I can't remember. The Sails of Sharon. That one. It's interesting. I mean, the parallel with that and prog. It's a very, very different thing. But they're both taking stuff which is perceived as being in the arts and doing it in a what is purely a silly rock and roll, energetic environment that annoys people. Part of the problem is it's in the 80s, and that's why his albums just go. Everyone says, "Oh, the first 3 albums, man." No. The first 2 albums are awesome, but the third album There is the trilogy suite, which is great, but it's mostly 80s rock songs, not neoclassical metal songs. 80s rock. So forget the third album. First two, yeah, you want the neoclassical metal songs. Singing, the vocals are amazing. And you want the instrumental stuff, this. Probably a compilation of these two albums actually will probably be more listenable. I mean, he was very young at this point. He recorded some stuff in Sweden, but he'd only done like 10 concerts or something. He hadn't done much in Sweden. But obviously he had made some tapes, some home studio tapes kind of thing, and somebody in America heard it and was like, "Oh my god," you know. It was perfect for the time and all that, and the sort of Van Halen plus, you know, without the terribleness of Van Halen, and that's another story. So Van Halen is a fantastic guitarist, I'm sure he is, and obviously the fact that he was so influential means he's now incredibly boring. But the band Van Halen are terrible, and what's his name? Who's the singer in Van Halen?
I don't know.
Is it David Lee Roth?
Yeah.
Oh my god, he's a twat. I can't stand him. I can't stand him. Look, I can't. Oh god, he can't sing. Terrible. That's okay. So this is like that. The next stage. That so it was perfect timing and all that. And I think he went in a band called Steeler, which I think was Ron Keel, maybe. And then Graham Bonnet formed his first band after Rainbow. That was Alcatraz. And the what happened was that they basically fell out because Yngwie says I wrote all the songs. This is my band. I thought of the name of the band. I'm the king. Everything. So that was the end of him being in bands. And actually Steve Vai replaced him. And then he went solo. And you would have thought he'd never have the success of Alcatraz, but actually he's like world. To write that kind of music and be so big all over the world, everywhere. He plays Brazil and he plays massive in Japan, obviously, and all that. There's something to be said for that. That's quite esoteric music. Now, obviously, what he's actually done is gone much more conservative very quickly. But still, you know, that is a thing. It's almost something I don't think about now, but yeah, he was an amazing player. And I think that's underrated. He's now, people don't quite realise how good he was at the time. You know, I mean, I think there's some effect he uses at one point and makes it sound faster. People think, oh, he's just using that. He's just blah, blah, blah. But certainly, first three albums era, he's actually frightening. You know, he's scared. The famous thing is Steve Vai is scared of him, you know, because Steve Vai doesn't really do the fast picking thing. It is astonishingly dynamic, and he doesn't lose anything with each note. You know, it sounds as good as something with good tone, Man on the Silver Mountain or something, and but fast and accurate as well. You know. But it is just one thing he's doing, really, and that's the thing. Whereas Steve Vai could be in the Zappa band, Malmsteen, he would never take orders from anyone. But also, he's not a versatile player. That's not what he's interested in. He's interested in doing that accurately. There is an audience video from '86. I think it's fairly recent on YouTube. It's amazing. I think maybe because people forget, they know the album so well, you forget. There is a bit on Far Beyond the Sun, which is supposed to be, I think it's actually been measured. I can't. I used to know like 14 notes a second or something where it was just it could, and that is really, really, really fast. And obviously all the modern players who sound so accurate and it's so well produced and everything, none of them are actually that fast, unless they're just chuggers, you know. So what is it that annoys people? I think that's what's interesting. Why are people so angry about what he's actually? I think it's quite inoffensive 80s, but it's neoclassical metal. It's a shame it was in the 80s, but why is that so? People are so angry. They hate him so much. You know, he is a bit of a knob. That's the thing. He plays up to the star thing. The fact that he's a star, and you have to remember he doesn't just play the guitar. He makes the whole album. He plays all the bass. He writes everything. Although this has a couple of nick things, but he writes everything and he produces it as well. He's a terrible producer. All the albums are really muddy and horrible. But he makes it all himself, you know. And the singer is told, "You will sing this way," and The bass player only gets to do the tour, you know, and the drummer, he will do this. But, you know, I mean, it's Yngwie J. Malmsteen. What does the J stand for? And then over the years, it's been Yngwie Jimmy Malmsteen and Yngwie Johann Malmsteen. So I don't think he's got a middle name at all. So I think that annoys people. I think that's quite funny. I get it, you know. You know, he's made a blues album. His new album is a blues album, and that's boring. Traditionally, he does one song on each album, which is a blues song, a fast blues. It's blues, but it's really, really fast, so it's boring. And the music video from the one song, well, I only heard one song, is him driving around in his Ferrari playing the blues. And there's the problem right there, you know? So, you know, it takes practice to do. He's achieved something, you know, I can't do that. What, can't you do it? Oh, I'll screw him then. I don't want to do it. And the fact that he has this wonderful tone, he doesn't really have the bland, accurate neoclassical thing. He's from the 80s. He likes leopard skin. It's always there, and it's always other. There's the Blackmore clone thing in that he copied him exactly. He copied his tone exactly. He copied his guitar. He dresses like him on stage and all this weird stuff. It is the metal and classical thing. So, I'm sophisticated, you know. I like classical music. Heavy metal. So maybe there's a thing there. You know, Wenton. We've probably announced this before. What Wenton means, haven't we? Michael Wenton Weeks is a character in a Douglas Adams book, and the idea is this guy listens to classical music, but he just listens to it because he thinks it makes him sophisticated, but he doesn't really. He's never really heard it. He doesn't understand it really. It's just background music, you know. So when someone does this, and it's that's heavy metal. You know, it's not rock. It's heavy metal. It's heavy, and it's all showy, playing it with his teeth and all that crap. I don't think he really plays it with his teeth. I think, obviously, Jimi Hendrix really did play it with his teeth. And it sounded horrible. So I wonder if he doesn't really, because you'd hurt your teeth. You know? Anything else?
No.
Why is it annoying?
It's annoying because it's that technical feat thing again, I think. I can understand why a guitarist would, you know, look at that and go, flipping it, how is he doing that? But when normal people aren't listening to music on that level, it's got to be more than that. It's got to be more than notes, the amount of notes you can get in a bar.
Yes.
Or on a page or whatever.
It has an emptiness.
Yeah, and it's sort of like I mean, you get the. I mean, they are really good guitar solos, yeah. But everything else is missing from it, you know. It's sort of
all that lovely diminished chords and all that, and it sounds so great. It sounds so great, but
where's the rest of the song?
There's nothing else there. Nothing. He and it was always the thing in my head that he needs to make his prog album now. He needs to do his concept album. He needs to join forces with Roger Waters and make, you know. And he did the Concerto for Electric Guitar and Orchestra. And I thought, oh, this is it. No, it's just his same melodies, all the stuff from this album with an orchestra. Great, but you know, I spent a fortune on his albums. I have a memory of hearing this. I got this very young. I'd already had it for a few years when we put it on at school in the sixth form. This was when we took over the classroom. It was supposed to be the study room, but we decided it was going to be the common room for some reason. We ripped down the curtains and bashed holes in the wall and all sorts of stuff. And putting this on yielded a response. I'm sure. I can't remember. What did we used to listen to? We had a tape recorder, didn't we?
I don't know. I don't remember that.
And we weren't supposed to put music on in that room because it was supposed to be the study room, so we did. I assume we'd listen to Led Zeppelin and stuff like that.
I don't remember listening to any music. I remember playing cards and playing chess.
I don't remember playing chess. Cards was a big thing. We played blackjack,
cheat, contract whist. Did we play poker? I'm not sure if we played poker. Chase the ace. What's that? 2-player patience. Speed. I got quite proficient at all of them.
Oh,
yeah.
But yeah, so we listened to this. I put the tape on this. Cool new stuff I found. It's amazing, you know. It was one of those things which that exciting moment of finding a new thing. There's going to be all these other bands like this. It's going to be amazing. It's not just Mr. Crowley. There's all this other music like that as well. Walked out of the room, and I remember him saying, it's funny talking about it now. It was the only thing that made me remember it was as he walked out, he said, "Tony, turn that crap off." And I think he maybe said it a few times. It's like something had annoyed him about the music. So there's something inherent in the music which is irritating, which is annoying, which made him angry. I don't know what it is. Only writing the notes actually for doing this. I mean, I was thinking about why do people hate it, and I remember that. But at the time, when you're young, you know, you just judge people. You think, well, you're an arsehole, aren't you? So now, you know, when people do things like that, you don't just think you're an arsehole. You think, well, why are they doing that? We should understand. But I don't understand. But there is something inherent in it which makes people angry, which is negative, which is, you know, fuck you.
Well, you got to remember that it's really dated at that time. We were listening to what would be on.
90s, yeah. So it's the worst possible time to listen to it.
If it wasn't Oasis, it would be some kind of dance music.
Yeah, Prodigy and stuff like that. Yeah. Worst possible time to listen to it. And one of the reasons I was drawn to it at the time, because it was epically uncool. Now he's like really cool. Everyone thinks he's really good. But yeah, I don't know what it is in the music. Whether it is the mixture of guitar tone and neoclassicalness. So it doesn't sound like those boring guitarists on YouTube who play Beethoven. You know, it sounds like this fantastic, you know, thick-toned Jeff Beck, except 100 times more notes.
I suppose it's a little bit like, so Vinny used to do this thing where he'd come round and he'd play heavy metal at me. Well, the heaviest of the heavy. Yeah. And it'd be like 3 o'clock in the morning. And he'll be like, "Oh, it's so dirty, isn't it?" I'm like, I don't get it.
Don't know anymore. So the music has been played at him. You know, he's in that room. Yeah. He's not. I'm not saying he's not studying either. Obviously, that was our social room, but he had music played at him, and he had no interest in of it. But that annoyed him, and I don't remember the other stuff annoying him. I mean, you have to, particularly school. It's sort of selective memory, isn't it? It's false memories. So you got to. But I think that annoyed him, and the other stuff he didn't care about. I think.
Well, there's no utility as a teenager. There's no utility listening to that, because a lot of what I kind of see myself separate to this, but I'm pretty sure I was separate to this. But a lot of it is sort of it's groupthink.
Yeah.
This is what we listen to. Yeah. This is cool. This is good music. Yeah.
If you're a teenager, you can't escape from that. And in a way, I was trying. What happened was we all just listened to it.
Yeah. So there's no utility for what's his face to listen to that.
Yes.
But I never got the sense that he was particularly into music anyway.
No, he wasn't. Yeah,
that's
my thing.
You know,
he didn't have any interest at all. But that, I remember his response.
Yeah. But I can imagine sort of Oasis would be going on, and there'd be enough people in the room into it for him to say, "Well, I'm not gonna say anything here." But that goes on. There's only one or two.
But that's what I'm thinking. He knows that's me putting that on, and he didn't. And yet he said it to someone else. He didn't even want to talk to me. That was the thing. That's what I remember thinking. And yet it might have been something completely different. He might have said something different.
We must have been, actually, now you're saying we must have listened, because I remember he had this tape of dance music and he went really, really high. He was like, and God, I used to listen to it about 6 times. I hated it.
It's horrible. It's annoying noises.
Drum and bass, you know. My brother used to listen to drum and bass now, so I'd be like,
"Oh, I like drum and bass."
I can't stand it.
Well, that's because you had it played at you, isn't it?
Well, no, it's because it's crap.
Well, there's certain types, maybe now you would appreciate, but obviously there's certain types which is just shit. It's just.
Anyway.
Yeah, we didn't get anywhere with that, did we?
No.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, you know, when deciding to review this, I hadn't quite thought about it. I thought, yeah, we're obviously going to do that at some point, but this is a big album for me, and you know, I've still got the book. I bought when I was about 15. I think I learned to play guitar properly by learning to play this album. I'd forgotten that. I would never have said that, but it's the only one I've got. There's not many others. But I wanted the whole album. I wanted to play the whole, so I did. I learned the whole thing, and there it is. See, there you go. See, 4 4 4 4 4 4 4 4 4 4 4 4 4 4 4. See how hard it is to play. So that's interesting because I don't, you know, I like prog, and that's a very different thing. This is much more disciplined and focused on one thing and getting it right on that one thing. But it's interesting how I needed to do that, and I bet I was terrible before I learned to play this album. This album would have enabled me to be a guitarist, and then I can play avant-garde music because I can actually do if I want. You know, it's interesting now. I can just about blag my way through Black Star. Probably on the Sun, about 3 notes in, and I was like, I can't remember this. I can't remember any of this. So that was the end of that. I think I can remember the riff to Now Your Ships Are Burned. That's a terrible song anyway. Yeah, so I think it's 4 eggs. I give it 4 eggs. Hugely important to me. I haven't listened to it for many years. The production sucks, which doesn't help. It's all muddy, and all these albums don't like that. In a lot of ways, a lot of people would prefer the second album. It is more of the songs, but they're very good songs. That's obviously why when it carried on in that direction, I think it's probably a bit reactionary in that, look, I can write songs, I'm not just a bit, you know. But it's a shame because he's never quite gone back to it. There's been moments where people say, he's gone back to it now, and he hasn't. It's still just songs and just guitar solos. I think his shows have slowly gone less and less songs. It's just him soloing for an hour. Switches to the acoustic. I honestly think a concert by him will be boring. Now, I think I would actually be a bit bored. It would be cool to start off with. I've never seen him live. The problem is when I got into him, he absolutely bottomed out. You know, he was huge in Japan and Brazil, and completely. He was playing guitar shops here in the US. So yeah, egg.
I mean, I'm going to give it 2.
2 eggs.
And that's a bonus egg because it's so important to you, Kev.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you gave Dark Throne 1 egg, so that would be 2, wouldn't it? Because this has got some nice tunes.
Can you go lower than 1 egg?
No. I've never done that. The only thing, the bit in the first Prodigy album that goes, "Can you feel the bass?" That was 1 egg. But everything else, I've never given anything lower than that.
Yeah, let's go 2 eggs.
Cool. There you go. Right, thank you very much.